Friends, we are live. CFLW, the show for this Friday, October the 10th. Rusty with you here. Hope you are doing well. Thanks for joining me. Oh, I see I still have this little thing that says TS Jerry. There's a couple of things I've had to update here from the live stream I did yesterday over on the Media Mundo channel. Let me take that off. I was actually trying to stream right at the top of the hour, and then I realized that one of the key components, if you will, to streaming I still had over on the Media Mundo channel, so I had to kind of reset things and start over. But it's great to see you guys on this Friday afternoon. I hope you are doing well. Coming up on this CFLW live stream, we have more flash flooding ongoing right now along portions of our coast. We'll talk about more major potential coastal impacts today, how things will be improving for the weekend ahead as well. As always, CFLW is sponsored by the leading law firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. Storm season is here. Wind, hail, hurricane damage. You even get a burst pipe, flooding, anything that damages your property. They'll walk you through the insurance claim process. They offer free consultation and policy reviews, so you've got nothing to lose. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you guys would like more information. Hope you're doing good. Let me jump over to the chat real quick as we get started. Hi, Chessie. How are you? Good afternoon from Spring Hill. Yep, starting to break apart a little bit with those clouds. Partly sunny now in Spring Hill with 83 degrees and some breezy conditions indeed. Hi, Therese. How are you? A beautiful 79 and sunshine in Kissimmee. Man, I wish that was the case for everyone, but let's get into what is still happening, will continue to happen, and how most of our area will actually get back into more impactful showers and some storms later today. Just like yesterday, a lot of this rain is going to be spreading inland with some heftier totals as a possibility. Now, at this point in time, thankfully, there's not a lot of additional rain right now over the Ponce Inlet, New Smyrna, Edgewater, Oak Hill areas of coastal sides of southern Volusia and northern Brevard County because they are under a flash flood warning. And this flash flood warning goes for a little bit more than an hour until 2:15. Some of the areas impacted: Port Orange, New Smyrna Beach, Edgewater, Oak Hill, Bethune Beach, Apollo Beach, Ponce Inlet, Glencoe, Turtle Mound, Eldora, New Smyrna Beach Airport, and the Samsula Spruce Creek. We've already had several inches of rain, and again, a flash flood warning means that flash flooding has already occurred or is imminently occurring in these locations. This is what the advisory from the Weather Service in Melbourne looks like. Again, it's for southeast and east central Volusia. Portions of there. I guess it just doesn't sneak into Brevard, does it? So again, Doppler estimates continue to track several inches of rain, and then an additional 1 inch is likely in those spots. Now, again, we've already had flash flooding this morning. I'll show you guys the radar out of this coming up in a minute, but we've already had significant rain here, but it is breaking apart a little bit at this point in time. Now, at the hour, some of the most significant rain is over northern sides of Brevard County, the Cape Canaveral area, Wilson, Mims, Titusville, Indian River City, Port St. John, Sharps, Cocoa, Rockledge, all fairly wet, scattered showers, a little bit of a break in the action towards Melbourne right now, but you get back down towards June Park and Palm Bay and Malabar, Grand Falcaria and Mico. And again, just good, solid moisture moving in. Not a lot, if any, lightning at this point in time. And these showers will continue to develop and drive their way from east to west. But the coastal impacts with the very breezy conditions will continue to be an issue here for the rest of the day. This is what the winds look like at the hour as well. So let me throw on these wind gusts for you guys so you guys can see those. Hopefully they'll cooperate and pop on here in just a second. And again, appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for taking a quick second, hitting the like button for me. I appreciate that as well. All right. For some reason, it doesn't want to do it that way, so we'll do it this way. There we go. All right. For some reason, we're not getting METAR data right now. I'll have to look into that as we go through the stream. It was there not that long ago. Let me just reset this shot. There we go. Yeah, it went away, didn't it? You guys can see there were the wind gusts, and then they dropped off. Fortunately, we might not have what we call METAR data, or the site's updating right now, so I'll keep an eye on that. Now, again, earlier today, there was a special weather statement because that's how heavy the rain was. So let me show you what prompted the flash flood warning, right? First of all, again, we have an area of low pressure off of our east coast. We have a frontal boundary. We have everything spinning inland still. We still have brisk inland winds. So here's what it looks like with the winds and the fronts and where our area of low pressure is. Right now, the model is analyzing it actually just inland, but there's a lot of that low to mid-level surface wind that is off of the coast and is spinning back in. Again, it's all an easterly onshore breeze. So from time to time, it picks up some of that moisture and it just shoves it inland, and we can still get several inches of rain. So again, we had a special marine advisory, we had a special weather statement, and we continue with the flash flood warning. Thankfully, again, there's not a lot more additional rain at this point in time in that flash flooding area, but take a look at all of the moisture that's developing along this boundary, which again is going to be the kind of the beginnings of what could be a very impactful system up and down the United States East Coast. We're likely to get a nor'easter developing here off of the East Coast, riding up into New England as we go over the weekend. For us though, and I mentioned this in Monday's show, if that was going to play out, yes, it would bring us some wet weather through the end of the week, but beginning this weekend, we're going to pull in north winds behind that area of low pressure because we're on the west side, and that should ultimately begin to dry us out. So this is the last day that I expect there to be major potential coastal issues with the flooding, the high surf, the high seas. There's all kinds of statements to go into here. So if I bring up the advisories, let's take a look at those real quick, guys. Again, my system doesn't even paint on everything that's here. It just picks the highest priority, if you will. So when I click on this for Flagler County, look at everything that pops up. You've got a wind advisory, a coastal flood warning, a rip current statement risk, a high surf advisory, additional wind advisories, and the biggest issue right now is this coastal flood warning. All right, so I want to expand this out so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. So we have coastal flood warnings for a lot of the area, right? So Southeast Georgia, Northeast Florida beaches, coastal flood advisory to go along with all of the other issues that I've already mentioned here. We're going to see some 1 to 2 foot above normal tide cycles for the rest of today and overnight in the areas with the coastal flood advisory. The areas with the coastal flood warnings could see 1 to 3 foot above normal tide cycles. This is going to, again, cause inundation of water in areas, and it's going to be an issue for us here. So that's what it looks like in Flagler County. If I swing over to Volusia and Brevard, again, you got a flood warning, you got the rip current statement. The flood warning is still going to be for the St. Johns, but if we look at this coastal flood warning, again, coastal Volusia County, impacts, coastal roads may be closed, low-lying property, including homes, businesses, crucial infrastructure will be inundated, significant shoreline erosion will occur, dangerous swimming and surfing conditions and localized beach erosion, rip currents can sweep even the best swimmers away from the shore. I know if you live inland, you're probably not aware of the impacts that this is bringing to our coast right now, but it is significant, and it does go until Sunday morning at 4 a.m. So even though the rain is likely to diminish, the onshore winds will continue with the higher than normal tide cycles, and it's going to continue to be an issue along the coast. If you guys live along the coast, please let me know in the comment section below if you've experienced any of this as well. Again, it's going to be a problem for the weekend ahead. Just the overall conditions. Then you've got the flood watch, and that's going to be for a big area as well. We have our flash flood warning. And again, if you're not under a coastal flood warning, you're under a coastal flood advisory with all kinds of issues that are likely to be along the coast for at least the weekend ahead. So I've summarized this again. Let me pull up that graphic for you guys. This is kind of a summary of the problems that we're going to see today along the coast. So the coastal flood watches and warnings, right? Rainfall totals will easily be in a lot of areas an additional 1 to 3 inches of rain. But just like under the flash flood warning area, we could get 2 to 5 just today, right? Central, talking about the I-4 corridor, Sanford, Orlando, Kissimmee areas, even towards Claremont and Leesburg, places like that. 1 to 2 inches of rain is possible. It's going to be a lot spottier, just like we had yesterday, but there will still be pockets of very heavy downpours as well. And then you live along the West Coast from Ocala to Crystal River and Inverness to Spring Hill, back down towards Clearwater, St. Pete, Sarasota, Tampa areas. At most, likely an inch of rain, but there will be other areas that are going to be completely dry. Winds are still going to be fresh. They're going to be out of the east at 15 to 25 with some 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Seas near shore are running 5 to 9 feet still. 8 to 10 feet offshore. We do have, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we've had some gale. Yeah, we have a gale warning for the offshore waters. I mean, that's how strong the winds are in the offshore waters right now. We still have 5 to 8 foot breakers. It's a problem because that's still leading to the moderate beach and the dune erosion, and then the high tide cycles. Again, in the watch areas, likely to be 1 to 2 feet above normal, but in the warning areas, 1 to 3 feet above normal. So inundation of all kinds of shorelines and some coastal roads going to be a problem here for the weekend ahead. Hey, Sin, how are you doing? Good afternoon to you. Hi, Amy. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Love to hear from you guys in the chat. If you're watching, so many more are watching than are jumping in the chat. But you know, I love for you guys to do that. That's why I like to do these live shows. We have this interaction. You have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comments section below. And again, liking and subscribing is always something that helps the channel out as well. We have our live cameras. Let's take a look at those. I'm going to take myself off camera and just to see if I can't get our METAR data to return. While that is happening, I'm actually going to reset our weather computer. But friends, this is a live look to Winter Garden on this Friday afternoon. Right now, it is beautiful sunshine. Look at that blue hue in the sky as well. A little taste of fall coming our way this weekend. We are going to see some cooler temperatures, especially in the morning hours, as the air dries out. That's one of the big things, right? We get this low to pull off of our east coast, and then we get the drier air with the north winds behind it, and this is going to lead to some very comfortable conditions, especially in the morning hours the next several days. Let's move on over to our Winter Park camera. Again, beautiful shot here from Winter Park. Locally, there's nothing but sunshine. This camera is looking off towards the east, and you can see some of the showers there along the horizon towards the east coast, the lean log cam here in Winter Park, but a beautiful, again, glorious afternoon. Best area to see those showers here from the Conway cam. Again, breezy conditions, even inland. Those winds are likely to freshen up. You know, in the Orlando area, 10 to 20 mile an hour winds, you know, fairly often is not out of the question. And then gusts could be even higher than that, 20 to 25 from time to time. It's not going to be very persistent with that kind of strength, but it's not out of the question that we at least see that opportunity for those kinds of fresh winds. And then a live look outside right now to the attractions area, again, Lake Buena Vista, a lot of blue sky out there at this point in time. I'm still concerned later today about the opportunity for some heavier rain, even moving into the attractions area. So, oops, sorry about that. So you get a beautiful, you know, early to mid-afternoon, but it's not out of the question that down the road later today, we actually get the opportunity for some heavier rain to move back in. Just like we had yesterday. If you live along the I-4 corridor yesterday, we had some good heavy downpours move in during the early to mid-afternoon and then just kind of fall apart a little bit as they work their way off towards the west. You know, and then the west coast, a few showers, but it was certainly a little bit drier. Okay, back over to the weather computer. Again, we'll hope that we got our data back up. I know we have an additional flash flood warning I want to get into. So I mentioned already again that the significant rain is now into Brevard County, and we have a brand new flash flood warning. So here you go. Goes for basically 2 hours. Let's give you the ideas. Now, it does go as far east to include Palm Bay and Melbourne, West Melbourne, Melbourne Village, and June Park. A lot of the flash flood warning, though, is west of I-95. Now, look, I have the street level mapping, guys, right? So the eastern side of this flash flood warning, you have a lot of communities and residential areas in this flash flood warning. So even west of I-95, in this part of Brevard County, it is very heavily populated. Okay, so don't be, you know, fooled thinking that there's not a lot of population west of I-95. Here in this part of Brevard County, you know, from the June Park, Melbourne area back down towards Palm Bay, there's a significant population. So it goes all the way until 3:15. Let's get the update on the warning here from the Weather Service office in Melbourne. Of course, literally off of their back step. The Weather Service office is right here with the radar. So flash flood warning for South Central Brevard County till 3:15. We've had estimated 2.5 to 3.5 inches of rain with an additional 1 to 3. So an additional 1 to 3, that's 3.5 to 6.5 inches of rain in this area. This goes right along with what I was talking about with that graphic where I thought it could be 3 to 5. Locally higher. And again, flash flooding is ongoing or is expected to begin shortly. We've had flash flooding of small creeks and streams, urban areas, highways, streets, and underpasses, as well as poor drainage and low-lying areas. This is just your classic heavy rain event in Brevard County leading to this flash flood warning. And again, we can take a look at some of the other data that I have here, guys. So let me bring up this data. I'm going to drop off the radar. We're going to bring up the precip amounts. And we're going to look at how much rain has fallen in the last 6 hours as an estimate. So you can clearly see, again, that the flash flood warning is right in this area with the most significant rain. And let's just do 3 hours. All right. So how much rain has fallen in this area in the last 3 hours? Let me just drop off the flash flood warning because it'll be easier to see. Again, I have access now to, we can look at how much rain has fallen anywhere between 1 and 24 hours in the past across our area. It's a great tool just like this to see where we could have some flooding and why. And then we can also look and see how hard the rain is falling as far as rainfall rates go. So clearly within this area, in the last 3 hours, we've had pockets of probably over 5 inches of rain, right? And even back towards western Melbourne, we're still in the 1.5 inch plus range. So this is why they issue the flash flood warning. And they're still expecting an additional 1 to 3. It is not going to be out of the question that some areas get 7, maybe even 8 inches of rain west of I-95 in this area. So if you know anyone who lives in this area, let them know that they're under a flash flood warning for very good reason. Again, this is just the amount of rain that has fallen in the past 3 hours. If we look at where the other flash flood, well, first of all, Merritt Island has had a pocket of rain or close to it, about 3.5 inches in the last 3 hours. And then the other flash flood warning that we had, now some of this rain was a little bit earlier in the day. I can go back out to the 6 hour loop, but you can still see that there are pockets of rain here trying to move on shore in the last 3 hours that have produced, you know, several inches of rain. But there is a bullseye right where that flash flood warning is over the last 3 hours. Now, if I do go out to the 6 hour time frame, and we look at that. So how much rain has fallen in the last 6 hours? And this is why this area had the flash flood warning here, right? New Smyrna South towards Oak Hill, you had a couple of spots with that special weather statement where they've had more than 4 inches of rain, and that came in a fairly short amount of time. Again, flash flooding, part of that has to go along with how heavy the rain is in the area, and obviously having to sit over that spot for a decent amount of time to cause that additional flooding. So now 2 flash flood warnings are in effect for our coastal areas. Hey, Palms Bay Jags fan, how you doing? Palm Bay Jags fan says, streets here in Palm Bay are underwater on the northwest Island Avenue, Northwest Palm Bay. Thank you, Palm Bay Jags fan. I appreciate that. So it's basically taking home exactly what I just was talking about. And I love the information and I appreciate that, right? Again, it helps tell the story. So this is a big problem in the Palm Bay, Melbourne, June Park area with the extremely heavy rain. Now, obviously, you don't want to be driving into flooded areas. You want to make sure that you're indoors if you can. Turn around, don't drown. We always say that. It doesn't take more than a few inches of fast-moving water to sweep away a car. It's a serious situation. Flash flood warning is the highest criteria when it comes to flooding. It means we have, you know, severe flooding ongoing within this area, and this does go for basically another 2 hours. So we're likely to see the rain hopefully move out of the area before that, but flooding can still occur obviously well behind when we've had the highest rainfall totals. And as already mentioned, I think we've had more than 4.5 to 5 inches of rain in a couple of these areas already. So it's not a great situation there. Certainly the possibility for additional flash flooding to occur across our East Coast for today. This is the radar loop. I'll just loop it up over the last half hour. Again, you know, at this point in time, all of the rain is confined towards the I-95 corridor, but through the afternoon hours, a lot of this activity will march inland. Now it's going to break apart a bit. We're still, meaning that it's just not going to be as, you know, widespread. I mean, this is just a huge cluster of rain in Brevard County right now. We're going to get some fast moving showers, but that's the other key too. For inland areas, it's not going to be sitting over one spot more than likely more than 15, 20 minutes. So we'll get brief heavier rain, but we're not likely to fall under a flash flood warning in interior sections for today. Let's take a look at the excessive rainfall possibility as well. Bring that up for you guys. So this is the excessive rainfall outlook. I'm a little surprised, to be quite honest, that the I-95 corridor is not under the second level of this. This is your general 5 to 10% chance of exceeding flash flood criteria. It does push inland, and I agree with that, right? You can't discount a pocket or two of areas even into eastern Lake and Seminole and central and eastern sides of Orange and eastern Osceola counties to have the potential to produce flash flooding. But I think the flash flood possibility is higher along the coast for today. We've already seen 2 different flash flood warnings, so I'm a little shocked that we're not in that second tier of that. If we take a look at this for tomorrow, you notice that it's gone. This is the last worst day. As that low develops off of our east coast and pulls away, it is going to be dragging in more north winds, more drier air, and all that moisture gets shoved along with it. So we'll look at that in the models coming up. But again, this is it. Still, unfortunately, looks like, okay, is it back? No, see how it goes away? Unfortunately, this METAR data dropped off here. It's probably a data feed issue, obviously. Don't know if I can fix it on the fly. It's typically something that kind of has to happen behind the scenes here. I can try this, but not likely to impact anything but the actual radar sites. All right, well, it happens. I can spitball it for you. If you live along the coast, you're seeing 15 to 25 mile-an-hour winds with some higher gusts. If you live inland, it's about 10 to 20 with some locally higher gusts there as well. So what it looks like on the visible satellite imagery with the radar composite on here. Again, boundary off of our east coast. Let me put up everything up for you guys so you can see it. The system is analyzing the low basically inland right now, but there is a broader low that is likely to develop off of our coast, and then it's just going to be riding to the north and to the east, right? And because we have counterclockwise winds around an area of low pressure, as that pulls away, it's going to pull in some drier air. So that's the forecast I have for the rest of the weekend. We got to get through today. We got to get through some of the coastal impacts with the inundation of water and the flooding and the very strong onshore winds. But starting tomorrow, all areas should dry out and dry out relatively quickly. There is likely to still be some showers in the forecast for your Saturday, but beyond that, there will be many dry hours and locations beginning on Sunday through at least early, if not even the mid part of next week. So if you're looking for drier weather, you're going to get it. If you still need some rain, like our western areas could use a few showers, there's at least an opportunity, but relatively speaking, we're going to stay fairly dry from here. And again, just nice north winds coming in and really lowering the humidity as well. You want to talk about a nice feel to the air, we're going to have that. And again, if you guys don't know, I just have to break this down for you real quick. Let me go out to this broad view real quick. So I was tracking Tropical Storm Jerry yesterday live on Media Mundo for, I don't know, 6 hours or so, moved through the Leeward Islands. That's Jerry. If you guys don't know, this is Karen. I mean, do you know how much I was looking forward to talking about Tropical Storm Karen and the memes and everything else that come along with it? Well, unfortunately, Karen developed in the northern Atlantic. I mean, it is like no one's storm. It's subtropical in nature. They have it as a subtropical storm through, I think, 24 hours, and then it's done. So we actually did pull off the 12th named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season late last night, but it's not even going to make its way to the UK. I mean, there'll be some gale winds associated with it, but it's not going to hold together. So we do have Jerry Karen, which means if for some reason this wants to develop and becomes subtropical in nature, because it's not likely to be a hybrid, it's not likely to be a true tropical system, it would be Lorenzo. Subtropical storms do get names. So Lorenzo could be riding up the East Coast over the weekend. Likely, though, this is going to be a little bit more of just a classic nor'easter as that area of low pressure at the mid-levels interacts with the boundary and causes some significant wind and rain and surf and sea conditions up the United States East Coast. Hey, L Gang channel, found me from St. Lucia. Good to see you. L Gang was on the Media Mundo side yesterday. I've got friends who joined both channels, and I appreciate L Gang jumping in. Again, L Gang, this is the Central Florida live channel, just so you know, but I appreciate you tuning in. St. Lucia, a lot of the Lesser Antilles have seen some significant flooding today, and if you guys like to tune in to the Media Mundo channel, I'll be back over there this afternoon with the recorded video, the update, and we're going to look at some of the video that I've gotten from our viewers in the Lesser Antilles with some of that flooding. But I appreciate that, L Gang channel. Hope you're doing well. Hope things are improving a little bit for you guys there. So let's get into, hey Kish, by the way, how are you as well? Happy Friday to you, my friend. Let's get into what's going to be happening with our rain the rest of the day. So let me bring that up for you guys. Bring up our handy dandy HER model first. Switch over here. Now I might have to reset this because I reset the program. Might take me just 1 second here. Typically though, once I've done it once, it doesn't take a lot. I appreciate it, L Gang, thank you. But thank you for finding me on this channel. Yeah, Amy says, finally getting a break from the rain in Ormond Beach. It's been raining since 4 a.m. We've had this significant rain, no doubt about it. We are going to be drying out. Now let's talk about the remainder of the day. Guys, you still see a lot of green on this map. It is thanks to the area of low pressure, which is, you know, analyzed just inland right now, but it's a broader area and it's still throwing in the easterlies right over our area. So as we go through the afternoon, let me back this up. This is right about 2 o'clock. Now, a couple things. The model's a little bit aggressive right now with the rain at 2 o'clock. We're only 30 minutes away from that, and it has a little bit more farther west than it probably should, but it's not likely to be far off because I am expecting all of this to get pushed inland through I-4 over the next couple of hours. So if you live in Deltona or DeBerry or Altamont Springs or Sanford or Orlando or Kissimmee, St. Cloud, we should start to see the winds freshen up a bit. You look off towards your east, you're going to start to see some of this rain move through. Again, pockets of heaviest rain, still the most confined east of I-4. A spotty shower is possible I-75 towards US 19, and again down the west coast, but not likely to be significant in most areas. And again, just the remainder of the afternoon and into the early evening hours here. The problem is that the East Coast doesn't really dry out much. There's your spin moving off the coast and beginning to pull away. Again, fairly impressive on the HER model. I don't want to completely discount the fact that this could be a hybrid system. Again, I checked the Hurricane Center's website just before I came on. They're not highlighting this area. Again, this is likely to be a cold chord system rather than a warm chord low, but you know, it does bear watching. Now, ultimately, again, by the time we get into your Friday morning, we'll still see a few showers linger along the coast on the western back end side of that area of low pressure, and it's beginning to move away. Look how it's opening up and moving away, and look at all of the absolutely heavy rain it's bringing to the rest of the east coast of the United States. We could still see on the back end with our north winds a few light wind-driven showers through your Saturday afternoon. So I don't want to say it's completely dry. If you have outdoor plans for tomorrow, my kid's got a soccer game, gonna have to keep an eye out for some fast moving showers. Is it going to appreciably hinder you being outside of actually being to the beaches, which you should not be doing, because again, more than likely all the beaches are going to be closed in most spots with the elevated tide conditions and the breakers and the rip current risk being extreme. But inland, you know, these are fast moving showers with some gusty winds in and out of one location relatively quickly, but it's just not a completely dry Saturday forecast for us here. And then that low spins away, and behind it, things get a lot better. Again, look on the HER model, has that low pulls away. Now, if you have any interest in South Florida or the Bahamas, the moisture fetch is a little bit more significant here, and the rain is likely to stick around a little bit deeper into the weekend and early in the week. But for us here in Central Florida, we are into the drier air with the north winds. I'll show you those north winds here as well, so let me bring those up. Let's loop that up. And I'll make them a little bit bigger for you guys, just so you can see. And again, drier air coming in, lower humidity, really comfortable mornings ahead. Hey Rhea, how are you? Good to see you. Hi Mary R. Melbourne sure doesn't need any more. I hear you, Mary. Unfortunately, you're in store for likely additional rain for the next hour or two. I hope it breaks apart after that, but with the east onshore wind, you are likely to at least get the opportunity for more showers in your area through the remainder of today. Hopefully light enough in nature though, Mary, where it's not going to cause additional flooding issues. It just may not be dry, but we have a concern in the Melbourne Palm Bay area right now with ongoing flooding. All right, so you guys can clearly see again that behind the area of low pressure, counterclockwise spin, we get into a north drying wind for the rest of the weekend and into early next week. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to really dry things out, but we've got to deal with how much more rain could fall. So let's look at the HRRR model as far as that potential. Total precip, and this is just, I'm going to just take it out to tomorrow morning. Again, let's be clear about something. This is not taking into account anything that's already fallen, right? Now it does take into account the last couple of hours. Let me pull that back. But it's not going to take into account some of the heavier rain that we had wee hours of the morning or yesterday or anything like that. So in plausibility, it's basically how much more rain could be falling in these areas. And you get the idea again when I show you these numbers. It's not fun in a couple of spots along our coast where we're likely to see some rain. I mean, take a look at this. Even towards eastern Seminole and northeast Orange counties, you're looking at the possibility of maybe 3-4 inches of rain in a couple of spots. There is a big gradient. I do agree with the HRRR model that all the heaviest rain should be east of I-4, most concentrated along the coastline. But these are just really, really solid rainfall totals. So there you go. Again, widespread, significant rain. Not a lot out west. A couple of passing showers is possible, but again, this just takes you through tomorrow morning. Not fun. Not fun indeed. All right. Let's take a look at our forecasts. They look like this. Again, the impacts today. Coastal flood watches and warnings. We'll look at specific areas coming up. Rainfall on the East Coast, easily 1 to 3, but I went local 2 to 5, and I think we're going to bust the higher end of that band in a couple of spots. I think we've already seen that in a few areas. 6-7 inches of rain just today is not out of the question. We've already had near 5 in a couple of areas, and even the Weather Service is talking about those kinds of amounts. Central could get 1 to 2, a little bit higher as a high-end possibility just east of I-4, west of I-4 is lower than that. West Coast at most 1 inch of rain, but a lot of areas will be dry. Winds are extremely strong, east at 15 to 25, gusts over 30, again, especially along the East Coast. Bottom line is the closer you live to the East Coast, the more impactful the weather is going to be today in the form of some squally weather with some locally heavy downpours, and along the immediate coast, all the coastal issues as well. Seas near shore still 5 to 9 feet, 8 to 10 feet offshore. There's gale warnings in the Gulf Stream waters, 5 to 8 foot breakers, moderate beach and dune erosion continues. And again, high tide cycles in the watch areas of 1 to 2 feet above average, but in the coastal flood warnings, it's about 1 to 3 feet above normal. And we'll look at some of the potential inundation areas as well. So for Daytona Beach, we're still going to have relatively cloudy skies and a good wind tomorrow, but the rain chance is coming down, and that is fantastic news. It's a 40% chance for your Saturday. Best chance will likely be a few showers in the morning and then a couple redeveloping in the afternoon hours, but gusts could still be over 30 miles an hour from time to time, just 79 for the daytime high. Clearing skies with a drier air on Sunday, breezy conditions still as well, still north winds, again upper 70s, and then look at the payoff on Monday. 66 the morning low on Monday with a beautiful afternoon and a daytime high of 81. And it will be dry as well. Brevard beaches will be drying out a little bit quicker overall tomorrow. tomorrow, but again, these are the areas with the most rain at this point in time. So some scattered showers are likely in the forecast with some breezy conditions, 15 to 25 mile-an-hour winds that'll be turning more out of the north, 82 the daytime high. Sunshine returns and dry weather returns on Sunday, and it's a great Sunday and into Columbus Day itself. 82 the daytime high for your Sunday, 84 on Monday. Again, a little bit of a breeze on Sunday, then lighter winds on Monday afternoon. Look for morning lows to just be in the upper 60s. That is nice. Where did that graphic go? That's the Brevard beaches. Why did that graphic not get in here? What happened there? That was supposed to be Orlando. Where did this graphic go? Oh, jeez. All right. Well, why did that happen? I'm pretty sure I did those. Give me just 1 second here. Well, now I'm sad. I made these lovely graphics for you guys, and for some reason they didn't transfer over. I can try and fix that in a half second here, though. Let's see. How's everyone doing today, by the way, as well? Trying to recuperate from the 6-7 hour live stream I did yesterday. I'm hanging in there, though. I'm all right. No complaints. No, I'm not going to complain. What I really want to find out, though, is why. The graphic is there. Well, I don't like to see that. Might be like the graphic is in the file where it should be, and it's just not showing up. That's a new one. I'm going to try it one more time, though. And then if not, call IT services. All right, I've dumped those both back in the file. We'll see if they ultimately return. Until I have a chance to do that, let's get back over to the radar. And again, look at our flooding issues right now. So, bring back on our flash flood warnings. All right. Again, the flash flood warning continues for southern Brevard County, or excuse me, southern Volusia County, but we don't have a lot of rain in this area right now. So hopefully the rain and the flooding issues in that area are beginning to alleviate themselves somewhat. But that warning does go for the next 30 minutes. This is the one that I'm most concerned about right now. There is ongoing flooding in portions of Palm Bay, even towards the West Melbourne area, June Park. This flash flood warning goes for the next hour and a half until 3:15. It includes Palm Bay, Melbourne, West Melbourne, Melbourne Village, and June Park. Let's take a look at the advisory from the Weather Service office in Melbourne. It looks like this. Again, flash flooding of small creeks and streams, urban areas, highways, streets, and underpasses, as well as other poor drainage in low-lying areas. If we look at the amount of rain, right, they're already talking about 2.5 to 3.5 inches of rain that's already fallen, an additional 1 to 3. So when you average that out, that's 3.5 to 6.5 inches of rain in some spots. And I showed you earlier on my system, we were picking up around 5 inches in a couple of areas on the west side of Palm Bay, you know, kind of towards June Park and the Melbourne Village area. So it's a problem. Now, hopefully this is the last big batch of rain moving west, and it will clear itself. If I loop this up for you guys over the last half hour, you know, how quickly are we going to pull some of this rain away? There's not a lot of forward movement at this point in time, and there could be more wet weather behind it. So a lot of Brevard County needs to be, you know, aware of the opportunity for some additional flash flooding in your area for the remainder of the day. Let me show you guys the advisories that are into play right now. And again, what I really want to highlight when this comes up is that in portions of Volusia County and Brevard County right now, we have this coastal flood warning. There's all kinds of coastal advisories. I didn't want to do that. Oh no. Now where did that go? All right, let me try that again. That was a disaster. I hit minimize. The question is, where does that, oh, is it right here? Oh, I've never hit the minimize button before. I didn't know where it ended up in this program. I just wanted to make it bigger for you guys, a little bit more than you guys can see. So this flash flood, excuse me, the coastal flood warning This is the one that is the most significant, okay? Again, it goes all the way until Sunday morning at 4 a.m. You can see the areas, coastal Volusia County, but this is what I want to talk about. If you look at the impacts, coastal roads may be closed. Low-lying property, including homes, businesses, crucial infrastructure will be inundated. Significant shoreline erosion will occur, dangerous swimming and surfing conditions, and localized beach erosion. And of course, the rip currents can sweep even the best swimmers away. But that is aggressive wording from the National Weather Service office in Melbourne to talk about the coastal impacts that are still likely to occur along our East Coast, especially in Volusia County, through Sunday morning. So even as the rain pulls away tomorrow, we're still likely to have coastal impacts throughout the day on Saturday. Thank you, Kish. I appreciate you saying that as well. Yes, help us out in that regard. That would be awesome of you guys. All right. Let me check and see here if our... Yes, okay. Well, one did. I'll take what I can get, I suppose. All right. Here's the forecast. Oh, no, it didn't actually. That was the wrong one. Well, got a little something to check up on here. Unfortunately, I don't have those forecasts, but I can tell you this, right? I can tell you this. In Orange County for tomorrow, I've got a 30% chance for showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm, but likely not even a rumble of thunder. And then I've got us dry as we get into Sunday and Monday. So tomorrow, a couple of showers out there. Now you head towards the West Coast for the Tampa forecast. Basically, I had it dry with a couple of showers tomorrow and then dry on Sunday and Monday. The bigger thing, too, will also be the temperatures. So if I bring this up for you guys, let me take a look at the temperatures real quick. As we get into Sunday morning, right? So this is going to be Sunday morning. Look at some of these numbers. This is the payoff with the dry air coming in. We are going to be eking into some low and mid 60s in a lot of Central Florida. Again, this is, well, sorry, that model timeline is wrong, by the way. This is Sunday morning. I don't know why it's saying that. I got all kinds of issues. I have to reset everything. Don't know why it's saying the 16th, because it's not. I can try to do it one more time here. All right, that's better. There, right timeline, still the right temperatures, low to mid 60s, right? 62 Ocala, 63 in the Villages. You got a morning round of golf on Sunday. Man, it looks absolutely fantastic. Even in Orlando, I'm expecting mid and upper 60s in the metro area, right? So, Popka, some of those outlying areas could sneak into that 65, 66 degree range. Downtown might be more like 68, but I mean, it's gorgeous. We have got just a beautiful, beautiful forecast here for Sunday morning, and it will be nice and cool like this for Monday morning as well. So there's your payoff as far as that goes. All right. Does anyone have any specific questions about the forecast? Obviously the remainder of today, my biggest concern is the opportunity for some flooding conditions in the area, especially along the West Coast, with the gusty winds at around 15 to 25, locally higher than that, and obviously the inundation of water. So that is what we're going to have to be watching out for the remainder of today, with some spotty showers kind of working their way inland. Again, right now, flash flood warning continues for portions of Brevard County until 3:15. Hi, Farrah, how you doing? Hi, Fiona, good to see you guys as well. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Yes, thanks for taking a quick second, hitting that like and subscribe button for me right now. Apologies that a couple of things aren't cooperating fully, but we'll figure it out. Most of the time, we're humming like a smooth engine around here at CFLW, but from time to time, technology. I wanted to show you guys before we get out of here one more time as well, our cameras. Live look outside right now to Winter Garden. Beautiful afternoon here. You live in Orlando area. We're looking pristine. Again, this will change. We'll get some showers trying to work their way in a little bit later in the day, but so far so good. There are some of the higher cloud tops moving into Winter Park. So this is a great shot. Again, these are just cirrus wispy clouds, right? Thin high clouds. And then you can see the deck of thicker clouds developing along the horizon there. So if you look east from Orlando, overhead the blue sky, little bit of mid and high level clouds moving in, and then the moisture laden air will make a run towards the area later in the afternoon. And that's a clearer shot to see from Conway, again, southeast sides of downtown Orlando. Bit of a breezy early afternoon here, 15 to 25 mile an hour winds. There is some of that moisture coming in. Not a lot of vertical development with any of this so far. So again, these are kind of brisk showers that will produce some quick downpours from time to time. Not expecting any big, flooding potential here through most of the Orlando area. I think that's going to be confined mainly towards our East Coast. Okay, friends, I appreciate you guys tuning in to the live stream. Please remember that CFLW is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys, offering free consultation and policy reviews. They'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. There's their website at the bottom of the screen. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you guys would like more information. Again, if you have any interest or you live along the coast, please make sure that you avoid some of the coastal areas for today. Significant flooding is likely to occur in a couple of spots. In Brevard County, Volusia County especially, some heavier rain is likely to swing towards I-4, but it'll be breaking apart as it does. Drier out west, and then all of us start to see drier conditions as we go through the weekend. I'll be monitoring the situation. If there's any need to come back on and cover it for you live, of course I will. If I don't, my friends, I'll see you for the next edition of CFLW, the show. That's going to be Monday at 1 o'clock. Thanks for taking a quick second. Like everyone has asked, hit that like button and subscribing to the channel if you haven't as of yet. Have a great rest of your Friday and a great rest of your weekend if I don't see you, but I will see you soon right here on the channel. Take care.
you.